That's your thing, babe, you always pay. She said it with a laugh at the diner. So I left her with the bill, walked out, and ended the relationship right there. My name's Ethan. I'm 34, and for a long time I didn't realize how badly I was being used. If you've ever been the person who always pays while the other just sits back, you'll know exactly what I mean. It started when I first began dating her. I'll call her Anna. In the beginning, it felt normal to cover things. First dates, coffee shops, dinners out. I paid without thinking twice. I liked her, and I thought paying was part of showing I cared. She always smiled, kissed me on the cheek, and said, "You're the sweetest." That was enough for me. At first, it didn't seem like a big deal. I wasn't rich, but I had some savings and a steady routine. Covering an occasional dinner or buying movie tickets didn't hurt. I told myself, if I've got it, why not share it with someone I care about? But slowly it shifted. One night stands out. We went out for pizza with some of her friends. 4 of us sat around the table, laughing and talking. When the bill came, everyone went quiet. I reached for my wallet out of habit. No one else moved. Anna looked at me and said lightly, "You've got this, right, babe?" Then she laughed like it was obvious. I paid. That laugh turned into a pattern. Every meal, every ride, every little expense. My card was the one on the table. At first, I brushed it off. Next time she'll get it, I thought. But next time never came. The little things started adding up. Gas money. I covered it. Movie nights. I paid for both tickets, popcorn, and drinks. Weekend trips. Everything went on my card just to make it easier. If her card didn't work, mine was right there. She always promised she'd get me back, but the money never came. After a while, I didn't even bother asking. And here's the thing. She wasn't broke. She had a job, a paycheck, and her own bank account. She could have pitched in, but she didn't, because I'd made it too easy not to. Every time I paid without a word, I was teaching her that Ethan always covers it. The night that really hit me was when she planned a special evening. Her idea, her choice of restaurant. She ordered drinks, steak, dessert, the works. The bill came to more than $250. When the check landed, she slid it right to me without even pretending to look at her wallet. No hesitation. No pause. I paid, but my hands were tied around the pen when I signed the receipt. That night, walking her home, I felt sick. It wasn't just the money. It was the realization that she didn't see me as a partner. She saw me as a provider. That was the first time the thought really sank in. I'm not her boyfriend. I didn't say anything then, just smiled and went home with the weight of it pressing on me. But something changed inside me that night. A quiet decision. No more. I wasn't going to make a scene. I was just going to stop paying for everything. After that special evening, I couldn't shake the thought from my head. I'm not her boyfriend. I'm her wallet. I decided to test what would happen if I stopped paying. Not with some big announcement, just by quietly holding back. The first chance came a few days later. We were out for lunch at a small cafe. Sandwiches, iced coffee, nothing huge. When the bill came, I sat back and waited. Anna looked at the check, then at me. "Babe?" she said, sliding it toward me like always. I smiled and said, "Let's split it." The look on her face was pure confusion. "Split it? Seriously?" she asked. "Yeah," I said. "That's fair, right?" She laughed nervously, pulled out her phone, and said she'd left her card at home. "You'll get this one, and I'll grab the next, promise." Of course, she didn't. From then on, the pattern started breaking down. Gas money. Suddenly, she never had cash. Movie night. Her card wasn't working again. Whenever we went anywhere, she waited for me to reach for my wallet. When I didn't, things got tense. The crazy part was she wasn't struggling financially. She had her own paycheck, her own savings. But why spend hers when mine was always available? She had gotten used to it. I had trained her to expect it. The breaking point came a couple of weeks later. Anna's birthday was coming up, and she decided she wanted to celebrate with a big dinner. She picked the restaurant, a fancy spot downtown, expensive enough that I would have thought twice about going there myself. She invited a couple of her friends too. We sat around a big table, ordering starters, cocktails, full entrees, and desserts. Everyone was laughing and having a great time. When the check finally came, the total was over $400. And just like that, the waiter placed it down in the middle. Anna didn't hesitate. She slid it directly to me. Her friends didn't reach for their wallets. No one said a word. It was like the whole table knew whose role it was. I stared at the bill, my chest tight. I thought about all the other times. The pizza nights, the road trips, the concert dinners. The promises of next time, that never happened. I thought about the little comments. "You've got this, right?" That made me feel less like a partner and more like a credit card with a pulse. And then, against my better judgment, I paid. Again, walking her home after that dinner, she wrapped her arm around me, smiling, thanking me for making her night so special. But inside, I felt sick. Not because of the money, but because of what it meant. She didn't see me as someone to share life with. She saw me as her sponsor, her safety net, her provider. That night, I made a decision. A real one this time. No more. Not a single bill, not a single excuse, not a single empty promise of, I'll get the next one. I wasn't going to announce it. I wasn't going to argue. I was just going to stop paying. And the next time I didn't reach for my wallet, that's when everything started to fall apart. The first real test of my decision came one Friday night. Anna suggested we go to a sports bar to watch a game. It was just the two of us this time, which made me think maybe things would feel different. We ordered wings, fries, and a pitcher of beer. The night was good. Lots of cheering, laughing, small arguments about place. For a moment, it almost felt like the early days, back when paying the bill didn't feel like a weight hanging over me. Then the check landed. Anna glanced at it, then at me. She slid it across the table without hesitation, like always. But this time, I didn't move. I leaned back in my chair, took a sip of my beer, and kept my eyes on the TV. The silence between us was immediate. She tapped the bill with her finger. Babe. I looked at her and said evenly, not this time. Split it. Her smile froze. Wait, what? Split it, I repeated. That's fair. She stared at me for a long second before letting out a short laugh, the kind people give when they think you're joking. You're seriously making a big deal over some wings and beer? That lit something inside me. I set my glass down and leaned forward. A big deal? I've been covering everything for years. Dinners, tickets, gas, birthdays. Thousands of dollars. And not once, have you ever paid. Tell me how that's not a big deal. Her face shifted from amusement to annoyance. She crossed her arms and muttered, wow, so you're keeping score now? That's attractive. The check sat there like a spotlight between us. For the first time since we'd been together, she slowly reached into her bag, pulled out her card, and dropped it onto the table. When the waitress came back, Anna barely touched her food again. On the walk home, she didn't hold my hand and didn't even look at me. That night marked the real beginning of the end. Over the next couple of weeks, I stuck to my decision. When we went out, I paid only for myself. If she suggested a movie, I bought one ticket. If she asked me to cover her because she'd forgotten her card, I told her no. The reactions came fast. At first, she acted shocked, like she couldn't believe I was serious. Then it shifted into guilt-tripping. Do you really not love me enough to treat me once in a while? She'd ask, ignoring the fact that I had been treating her constantly for years. When guilt didn't work, it turned into anger. She started calling me stingy. Said I'd changed. That money had gotten into my head. But I knew the truth. Money hadn't changed me. I had simply stopped letting her use me. The breaking point with Anna was coming. I could feel it. And deep down, part of me already knew how it would play out. It wasn't going to end quietly. It happened on a Sunday morning. Anna called and said she was craving breakfast at a little diner we both liked. Just the two of us, nothing fancy. I thought maybe it would be a chance to clear the air, maybe reset things. We sat down in a booth by the window. She ordered big, pancakes, bacon, eggs, extra sides, endless coffee. I kept it simple, just eggs and toast. For most of the meal, things felt normal. We talked about the week, laughed about a show we'd watched. Then the check came. The waitress set it down in the middle of the table. Without missing a beat, Anna slid it across to me. Same routine, as always. I didn't touch it. She looked up, confused. What are you doing? I'm not paying this time, I said calmly. Her eyebrows shot up. You're seriously not paying? No, I said. Why should I? Her tone sharpened. Because you always do. That's your thing. That sentence hit me like a cold slap. That's your thing. Not kindness. Not partnership. Not love. It was just my role. My identity in this relationship was reduced to paying. I pushed the check back toward her. My thing is being your boyfriend. Not your wallet. Her face twisted. She scoffed and shook her head. Wow, you're unbelievable. Over a stupid breakfast bill. It's not about breakfast, I said. It's about everything. Every dinner, every trip, every excuse. I've paid for all of it. Thousands of dollars. And you never once offered. Not once. She stared at me, silent for a moment, then snapped. You're overreacting. Couples share things. That's what love is. Sharing goes both ways, I said quietly. But this hasn't been sharing. It's been me paying and you taking. The silence that followed was heavier than any argument we'd ever had. Finally, she grabbed her purse, pulled out a 20, and slapped it on the table. She stood up, looked at me with disgust, and said, if money means more to you than love, then I don't even know why we're together. Then she stormed out, leaving her plate half-eaten and her coffee still steaming. I sat there for a while, staring at the check. It wasn't about the money on that bill. It was about what her reaction told me. She hadn't been in love with me. She'd been in love with what I could provide. And the truth cut deep. I wasn't her partner. I was her provider. That was the last time Anna and I ever sat at a table together. The weeks that followed were hard. Losing someone you've built routines and memories with hurts, even when the relationship was built on uneven ground. I caught myself missing her voice, her laugh, the comfort of just having someone around. But then I'd think about that line, "That's your thing," and the ache would fade into clarity. Because if someone only values you for what you can give, then they don't really value you. After that diner morning, Anna and I never spoke again. No apology, no conversation, no closure. Just silence. At first, it stung. For weeks, I kept wondering if I'd been too harsh, if maybe I should have handled it differently. But every time I replayed her words in my head, "That's your thing. You always pay," I knew I'd made the right call. The truth is, what happened with Anna wasn't rare. The more I thought about it, the more I realized how many people slip into that same entitlement. Some grow up spoiled, never having to reach for a check because someone else always covered it. Others play the victim. "I'm broke, help me out," and lean on guilt to get what they want. And then there are people like Anna, who find someone generous and keep pushing until that person breaks. It's not random. It's how patterns form. When one person always pays, it changes the relationship. It stops being equal. You're no longer a partner. You're a provider. And once someone gets comfortable in that role, they don't give it up. Why would they? A free ride is easy to get used to. What was hardest for me to admit was that I'd allowed it. I trained her to see me that way. Every time I paid without speaking up, every time I let her forget her card, every time I said, "I'll get it," instead of asking her to split, it reinforced the idea that this was just how things were. By the time I finally said no, it wasn't just about a bill. It was about years of imbalance. Losing her hurt. There's no denying that. I missed the good moments, the laughs, the road trips, the inside jokes. But I had to face the reality. Those things weren't free. I'd been buying them, one check at a time. And the second I stopped paying, they disappeared. That was my wake-up call. Here's what I learned. Generosity without boundaries isn't kindness, it's self-destruction. When you never say no, people stop seeing you as generous. They start seeing you as weak. And weakness, to someone who feels entitled, is just an invitation to take more. So now, I pay for myself, and only myself. If a friend or a partner is truly stuck, I don't mind helping once. But I make it clear it's not a habit. Real love, real friendship, it doesn't come with a price tag. The people who stuck around after I stopped paying, they respect me more. They don't expect me to cover them, and they don't measure my worth in dollars. Looking back, I wish I'd drawn the line sooner. I wish I'd realized that saying no doesn't make you selfish. It makes you strong enough to demand respect. So that's my story. I appreciate you watching till the end. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more content.